If you're anything like me, you've probably had your fair share of disappointing moments. Maybe it was something you were really looking forward to, or just didn't live up to your expectations. Maybe you realized you just really weren't that good at something, or someone you trusted let you down. Maybe you should leave those experiences in the comment section below. You may have to think for a bit, and that's fine. I, on the other hand, do not. I'll go ahead and get this one out of the way. Santa, it's a pretty universal one. I think it's time for a major overhaul on the whole Santa story if parents still want their kids to believe it. I mean, you just can't expect to fool kids as easily these days. I mean, with smartphones, the internet, air conditioning, some of the more traditional hallmarks of the Santa narrative, they just don't hold up anymore. Not that they were really that believable for me as a kid either. I mean, 8 tiny reindeer? Please. I mean, you need at least 12. Or, find some bigger reindeer. 8 medium-sized reindeer, maybe. I mean, they expect us to believe a 300-pound man can just slide right down a chimney. I mean, what kind of message is that sending to today's youth? I mean, I understand why they did it. They're trying to play to their audience. I can respect that. But, you just can't sugarcoat reality forever. Poor choice of words, maybe. And then, of course, there's just his appearance. I mean, thousands of years of, lore and storytelling, and this is the best we could come up with. I've always thought it's kind of ironic because, I mean, isn't one of the major tenets of, Santa coming that he comes at night? Everyone's asleep, the kids don't see him, so, you could literally make him whatever you wanted. But instead, we get a jolly chain-smoking elf who and gorges himself on cookies while breaking into people's houses. Great example. I mean, I've tried asking my parents about it, but of course they weren't any help. I'm sorry, is it really that uncalled for me to wonder why Santa gets his wrapping paper from Walmart? And just because Dad likes eggnog, we're just gonna assume Santa does too? And I guess China's some North Pole subsidiary. Yeah, I didn't see that Christmas special. Didn't take me too long to realize that Santa wasn't too big on questions. Being real, apparently. Speaking of Christmas gifts and low manufacturing standards, the Christmas before I started this channel, I received a Sunpack tripod, amongst other filmmaking things. And, I was pretty excited to start using it. They had a lot of cool features, like a quick release plate, bubble level, locking leg braces, and a nice matte black finish. Oh, and it was complete garbage. Maybe it's just me, but I don't usually consider it a sign of structural integrity if your tripod weighs less than a $100 camera. Or the lens cap. Because there's times I need to film outside and I would prefer to have a tripod that could withstand a spring breeze. But hey, at least one of the legs didn't shear off at the slightest clip of my heel as I was jogging back to the house after taking this very underexposed shot. There's that Sunpack quality. Funny, I don't remember seeing a 24-hour limited warranty in the owner's manual. But hey, if this isn't an Instagrammable moment, I don't know what is. I ended up having to use my grandparents' 50-year-old tripod that they had back in a spare bedroom closet, which surprisingly enough was able to withstand the force of gravity. I mean, it's the tripod I'm still using. I mean, sure, it doesn't have a bubble level, but I never really understood the application of that anyway. Before I started college, people were always telling me, how great college life is, and you're going to join all these clubs and meet all these college girls. While I wasn't naive enough to think I was going to suddenly gain charisma after high school, college was still a pretty big letdown for me. The food still sucked, no one came to any of my parties, and a lot of the classes were just impossibly hard. It's pretty normal for kids to want to make money. I mean, I was no different. I saw the way my parents were always, talking about money and bills. They never thought to let me in on the conversation. Alright, I don't need you. I'll go get my own. I don't want to share. My first money-making venture, was to open a lemonade stand, which in retrospect is about as original as it was successful. I mean, it seemed pretty straightforward. I was already halfway there. Now I just needed a recipe. And not to brag or anything, but I came up with the perfect formula.
Every pitcher of Andrew's premium lemonade starts with ice-cold, locally sourced well water with iron flakes, which is mixed together with 300% your daily value of pure, organic, all-natural cane sugar. And to pull it all together, the very essence of a vibrant, sun-ripened, mouth-watering lemon picked at the peak of freshness. All served with a smile that says 100% margins.
But my real problem wasn't really with supply. Demand, on the other hand, that was looking a bit slim. We didn't live in the traditional suburban neighborhood full of pity-buying customers. I mean, who was I supposed to sell to? My dad? No. So I had to wait for opportunities to get my name out in the community. The Easter family get-together, the 4th of July family gathering, the Labor Day family assembly. I don't know, maybe I was never able to get a foothold in the market. I knew I should have gotten into online. Fast forward a few years and I'm folding paper airplanes with my cousin. You know, as two preteen boys with nothing else to do but speedrun Rhea Rabbit for the 5th time are wont to do. Our grandparents had gotten us this paper airplane book, you know, the kind that has like the different colored paper and like the different designs, the different instructionals. We got to the point we had been folding for probably about an hour or so, and we noticed we had a pretty good stockpile built up. And you know, at that point we really only had 2 options. 1, we could fly them, or 2, we could sell them to the kids at church that night from behind the baptistry like some sort of sacrilegious black market. Luckily for us, we chose the option that earned us enough money for 2 packs of limited edition Carnival flavors Skittles. Unluckily, that money was quickly unearned as soon as our valued customers started showing off their purchases to their parents. But this is cardstock! I was starting to realize that this whole money-making thing wasn't as easy as I had at first thought. I decided that, hey, maybe from now on I just need to be more blunt about it. Hey Grandma, I need $30. Let me weed your flower bed.
No, thank you. I just put fresh mulch on it last weekend.
Alright, you drive a hard bargain. Tell you what, for 40, I'll throw in a couple lemonade.
No, I think I'm good.
Look, Grandma, if you're not going to finance my copy of Animal Crossing City Folk for the Nintendo Wii, We Speak not included but heavily promoted at the GameStop checkout counter, through unsolicited gardening work, who will? This past Thanksgiving, I finally confirmed olives to be the vile little pustules I always knew they were, by tasting one. We all know the traditional Thanksgiving foods, you set it on the table, rolls, cranberry sauce, jellied and whole, because you were feeling a little bit saucy this year. I don't blame you, I'd do the same. I don't really think olives, that's more of like a, kind of just something you laugh at others for buying. I always thought it was one of those gag gifts. But it turns out people actually eat them, 2 of those people being my parents. I mean, no matter where I sit, every year they're always staring me down. Eyeballs. Just like the first Thanksgiving. I'd always thought that the smell was, akin to a dead beetle of a similar size. But I have to hand it to you, olives. You taste worse. You taste like if someone was trying to can grapes. And like right in the middle of everything, I thought, oh, screw it, since I'm already making bad decisions, and threw in a cup of salt and some urine samples for flavor. Kind of disappointing. I thought I was finally going to conquer my olive demons. But at least now if someone asked me, well, have you tried them? Have you? I was finishing mowing up the grass one day when I noticed like a dark spot over in some of the uncut grass. It looked like either an animal or an animal deposit, and I wasn't exactly keen on running over either. I got off the mower to look and saw that it was actually a baby bird. I looked around a little bit and I didn't see a mom or anything, didn't see any nest.
This looks like a job for socially inept college students.
I didn't just want to leave it out there, so I brought it home, got an old pet cage we had, lined it with like old rags, socks, put like some branches in there for it to hop around on, and I fed it like moistened cat food, which I saw some articles recommend online. Overall, it seemed to be doing pretty well until about day 5 when it scored terribly in the being alive category. Turns out being a directionless 20-year-old doesn't qualify you to parent another species' offspring. I learned later that the bird I found was actually a fledgling, which is basically like an adolescent bird that's learning to fly. So, and finding one on the ground, usually especially near trees and bushes, is pretty normal. Being kidnapped and slowly killed by your incompetent caregiver, not so normal. So my advice is just let nature take its course, whatever happens. It'll hurt less for everyone in the long run. And finally, one of my earliest disappointing moments happened in kindergarten, right about the time that I was realizing that Nick Jr.'s portrayal of school and learning didn't exactly line up with reality. There were no happy, anthropomorphic school supplies. The flowers didn't dance and greet me upon my arrival. I didn't waltz up to a colorfully painted school with a bell tower on a little hill. I mean, even something as simple as coloring. That's supposed to be a pretty stress-free little creative endeavor. Not on my table. You better not color outside the lines. One of the girls went on a little mini power trip every time someone got a little too creative. I mean, school lunches, playground politics, definitely not soiling myself in front of the entire class. Needless to say, I was feeling pretty jaded at this point. Kindergartner-itis, if you will. Until one day I heard those infamous words.
And after your naps, we're going ice skating.
Ice skating? What? I mean, I didn't even know what that was. I'd only ever seen ice in like cube form living in Texas. But I mean, it sounded way more exciting than government mandated curriculum. But of course, there was a catch. First, I had to get through nap time. Hated nap time. How did they expect me to be able to go to sleep after I've only been awake for like 5 hours? I mean, that's not how sleep cycles work, especially not for, energetic elementary kids. At least I thought. Apparently I was the only one who had trouble falling asleep. I mean, most days I would just have to fake it. I would go over there, grab my paper-thin, officially licensed Disney beach towel, spread it over like the 1/4 inch of carpet. Whew, man, I am tired. Kind of do 100 a day. No big deal, but just a little rest. Oh. You don't get floors like this at home. That's solid, wow. All right, let's see how we're gonna do this here. There we go. That is just what I needed. Oh God. Oh, this is restful. This is restful, guys. And of course now it was even worse because I actually had something to look forward to. As soon as those lights came back on, I shut up. I was at the door. I was giving orders. All right, guys, single file. Yeah, alphabetical. I know you're still working on it. Just get in line. Main thing, let's get on the bus. Okay, let's get going.
No, it's not time to go home yet. Come on, let's all take a seat.
That's weird. I don't remember seeing an ice rink on campus anywhere. Seemed a bit extravagant for a school that served instant mashed potatoes.
Okay, everybody take 2 pieces and then pass the rest around.
These are for the sandwiches. Wow, you're really going all out on this one. All right. Hey, stand on them, but I don't understand what. Oh. Wax paper skating. Yippee! What are we going to do next? Have a snowball fight? Watch another class have a popcorn party? I guess after that you're going to tell us Santa isn't real. Actually would have been appreciated. Look, I understand that strapping sharp metal blades to the feet of someone else's children and pushing them out onto a hard, slippery surface isn't a good idea if you like not getting sued. But this wasn't exactly liability-free either. So those are some of the highlights of my disappointing moments so far. But now I'm interested to see what yours are. Doesn't have to be anything big, nothing major. I mean, you can't tell me you don't have any disappointing moments. I mean, I know for a fact you have at least one, because you just watched this video. See you in another year.